Over the years, I've had quite the infatuation with a certain series that most fedora-tipping nice guys and people who wear this shirt seem to enjoy. That's right, boys and girls, I'm talking about Mega Man. This little blue man has been giving me fantastic games over the years, with my personal favorite being the X series of Mega Man games, because that's a series made for all the edgy big boys like me to enjoy. I think the first Mega Man X really stands out from the crowd, and it's god tier, and anyone who disagrees with me better be ready to face the power of my blade. That's right, Tyler from school, I'm talking to you. But you may be asking, why do so many people hold this game in such high regard? Well, my beloved viewer, I'm here to explain why this game is one of the best games to grace the Super NES, and why so many deadbeats like me seem to like it so much. Without further ado, let's dive right into my crippling obsession. Let's start with the history behind this game, because much like you all, I also enjoy getting my ear talked off with pointless trivia. So, after the release of the Super NES, Keiji Inafune and his merry band of businessmen knew that they needed to reboot Mega Man for the new console. So they redesigned him, gave him a cool red friend with a rad sword, put more emphasis on the story, as well as added some superb movement options that enhanced the gameplay from the first Mega Man series. So these legendary fellas released this fantastic game in December of 1993 to massive acclaim. Oh boy, you say, but does the game hold up today? Well, my viewer, the answer to that is yes, if it wasn't already obvious from the intro to this review. I'm one of the raging fanboys ready on the front lines to defend this game in the heat of battle, and my justice will be swift, I can assure you. But anyways, I'll finally be explaining why this game keeps me awake at night, weeping and sobbing into my pillow like a sad fool at how I'll never be able to experience such mastery ever again in a 2D platformer about a small blue man. Until X4, that is. That game is exceptional. Giving a quick rundown of this game's plot, the story starts 100 years after the first series, with this guy, Dr. Kane, finding a capsule with an upgraded Mega Man model inside, a Mega Man 2.0 if you will. As well as being a certified big strong anime boy, he can also think and feel for himself, a quality his predecessor didn't have apparently. X is so cool that they made a whole new series of robots based on his design. This new race of machines were dubbed the name Reploids as a combination of the words replica and android. But sooner or later, some Reploids go rogue and start attacking people. Classified as Mavericks, they become such a threat that the government gets involved and creates the Maverick Hunter Task Force, an elite military of Reploid good boys such as X and his friend Zero. Zero is objectively the coolest thing ever, but whoever made the task force doesn't seem to think so they made this Buzz Lightyear-looking loser the commander. You see Sigma right here? This so-called commander caught the Maverick virus and kept it a secret from everyone. I find that pretty ironic for the leader of the Maverick Hunter Task Force. If that wasn't enough, he infected a bunch of his strong comrades and waged a war against the humans. Yeah, nice going, pal. So that leaves X and Zero to travel to the 8 stages and defeat Sigma and his Mavericks.
What am I set up if I do say so myself?
This story works so much better than the Dr. Wily shenanigans of days old. Like, seriously, was anybody intimidated by him? With Sigma, I actually feel a sense of urgency that you can't really experience with the original series. And before one of you types in the comments that story doesn't matter in a Mega Man game, I first want you to consider the fact that I'm the alpha male in this situation, and your opinion means nothing to a legend like me. That's right, Tyler, I'm on to you. But anyways, a minor complaint I have with the game's plot is that it isn't displayed very well in the game. Sure, we do have the occasional wall of text and cutscene here and there, but the interesting backstory isn't really spelled out in the game. So in my expert opinion, the best way to get the story is through Day of Sigma, a 30-minute animated short that was made along with the remake of this game. It acts as a prequel right before the game begins and it works so well. Like, dear lord is it good. It gives the perfect exposition to the game as a whole and I highly recommend checking it out when you have the time. Now to arguably the best part of any video game, the gameplay. And oh boy is the gameplay good. The controls and moveset just make the game for me. X retains all of his moves from the original games, jumping, shooting, weapon charging, and of course taking the boss's abilities. But here we have some new additions, those being the wall jump and dash upgrades. They shake up the gameplay just enough to improve upon what Mega Man could already do. By jumping and dashing at the same time, X can perform a dash jump. It feels so good to do a dash jump, you feel like a literal god among men. I mean, all day my peers and fellow classmates treat me as such. But it does feel great nonetheless to dash through enemies at blinding speeds. Mastering the game's controls is the key to completing it, and one of the major draws to the game in my opinion. The control set allows more flexibility. Gone are the days of falling to your death with no questions asked. Now you have the handy dandy wall jump, which gives X the ability to scale walls and other structures. I have spent hours upon hours in my life, which could have been spent making friends, trying to master this game's legendary controls. And people wonder why my family is so proud. But it's all worth it because you can do this. Do I even need to mention how amazing the opening stage is? This part of the game has gone down in history as one of the best designed stages ever made. The Vile fight at the end is great and really sets the tone for the rest of the game. But before I puke out everything the Ego Raptor said, just watch his video on the subject. It's really good. I think I just became one of the many losers to make an X review and mention this man. I'm not even joking, he's mentioned in every single review of this game I've ever seen. What a legend. This is a good time to talk about the game's music. It's the seasoning on top of this delectable pile of packaged ramen noodles. You see these composers right here? They're all wonderful people and are most likely going to rule this pitiful earth one day. I tip my hat to every one of these talented musical gods. This soundtrack is definitely one of the best the Super NES has to offer. It's hard to accurately explain how great this OST is. It practically oozes with the word radical. Just listen to some of these! And those are just a few of the fantastic tracks in this game. The music helps you get pumped and keep your rhythm all throughout each playthrough. And just listen to that opening music! That's some good stuff right there. If you're a fan of this sort of music, I highly recommend checking out more of the soundtrack after you watch this video. The game design is spectacular. There's something I like in each stage, and I find it hard to dislike most of them. All the stages have unique set pieces and mechanics, like the minecarts in Armored Armadillo's stage, the battleship and Launch Octopus's level, and the mech suits throughout the game. Also, the stages can change based on what bosses you've beaten. For instance, after beating Storm Eagle's stage, the lights in Spark Mandrill's stage start to flicker for some reason. What didn't these courageous scholars think of? What's more, they added mini-bosses, some pretty cool ones too. But the one from Spark Mandrill's stage gives me an aneurysm. If you get caught in his jail, there's a small chance he can practically one-shot you by lunging his body at you. It's always unpredictable and it can be a huge roadblock for new players. That being said, I've played this game so many times that he never poses a threat to me anymore. Every stage in this game is memorable to me, and they all have something to set it apart from the others. Same can be said for this game's amazing bosses. First of all, their designs are really cool. They have a lot of creativity put into them and it shows. Storm Eagle and Sting Chameleon come to mind in this regard. Each of the fights are fun and I generally enjoy fighting each one. You can defeat them in the recommended order, which can put the bosses in an easy pattern, or you can be edgy and just defeat them with your little pea shooter instead of using special weapons. I personally like to avoid any and all frustration in video games, but the option is certainly there for all you madmen that are interested. All jokes aside, Buster-only fights can be really fun and challenging. It can bring a whole new layer of strategy to replays of the game. On the subject of special weapons, they certainly have their uses besides defeating Mavericks. I really like using the homing missiles in certain parts of the game, but overall, I was fine only using them during bosses. To be fair, I never really used the special weapons during regular gameplay in other Mega Man games either. I feel you can just get by using the X-Buster alone in all the stages. But special weapons aren't the only thing that X acquires on its journey to become Best Boy. If you haven't noticed yet, the life bar in this game starts out much smaller compared to his classic counterpart. This is because throughout the 8 stages there lies heart tanks, which boost your life bar. On top of this, there are 4 sub-tanks that work much like the E-tanks from the past games, except you can refill these. To cap this all off, there are 4 armor upgrades to find. There's the standard armor upgrade that lets you take 50% less damage, the helmet that allows you to break blocks with your head, the aforementioned dash boots, and the amazing X-Buster upgrade. Whoever came up with this concept is a genius. One of my favorite parts of a game is feeling your progression as you go further. And with the heart tanks and upgrades, I get that same sort of feeling, like I'm growing along with X. That sounds really stupid, but hunting down the upgrades throughout each level really gives me a sense of accomplishment. Now, if only I could feel that same accomplishment in day-to-day activities, that would be really great. But I guess some people are just meant to be failures. If I were to have any problems with these additions, it would have to be that the sub-tanks can make the game really grind-heavy. Like, these jerks take so long to fill. Also, the head-bashing move is utterly useless except for 2 or 3 spots in the game. But before we move on, I need to mention how amazing the Buster upgrade is. Just look at it. It's pretty cool. After you've beaten the 8 Mavericks and probably reached Super Saiyan 5 Depression, you have the final 4 levels to go, the Sigma stages. Beat them all to reach the Buzz Lightyear man himself. I love these stages so much, man. There's some pretty good platforming challenges to cap off this stellar game. If I would have to pick, the best of the 4 Sigma stages would have to be the first one. It starts out with Zero being like, I'm a go, you defeat these guys. So then you do some stuff and meet up with Zero and Violet in this little room. Then they fight off screen. But then you come in, and Zero's defeated, then you get beat up again, but then Zero jumps up and suicide bombs himself on Violet, leaving only you to finish the job. This battle is one of the most memorable in the game, not because of the fight itself, it's actually a cakewalk, but the build up to it. This guy destroyed you in the first stage, with Zero having to swoop in and rescue you, but now Zero is dead, and you finally have your chance to prove yourself. So when you beat him, you feel really satisfied. You go up to Zero's body as he says his last words and fades away, gone forever. At least until the next game. So after some rematches and some sort of forgettable bosses, you'll finally reach Sigma, the man, the mystery, the forehead! But first you have to climb this incredibly long upward shaft with these little worm things that you can easily farm. The tension is raised even higher with this spooky music. So after climbing for what seemed like 15 seconds, you reach the top to find this smug man before you. He gives you this little villain monologue, then sticks his dog on you. Oh yeah, whatever, he's easy. Then Sigma comes back, throws off his little jacket, and flings himself at you with a lightsaber. You can lock him into an easy pattern with the spark weapon. But then he has his final form! This dragon thing! This part of the boss fight is so much fun. You're constantly having to think on your feet. This fight separates the boys from the men! You show everyone, even Tyler, what you're made of! That you have worth! My teachers were all wrong! That was pretty easy. I guess that was a pretty good boss fight. Overall, I had a great time replaying the game for this review. Giving this game a go again really made me realize just how much I love it. It's the perfect amount of challenge to be accessible to new players, while the game as a whole is so much fun to come back to for experienced players. And because the game is so short, I find myself replaying this game very often. I hope you enjoyed my review of Mega Man X, and if by any chance you enjoyed this autistic thrill ride, consider subscribing for more of this garbage. I mean, if you want, that is.
Don't get the wrong idea!
Here I come, rougher than the rest of them, the best of them, tougher than leather. You can call me Knuckles. Unlike Sonic, I don't chuckle. I'd rather flex my muscles, I'm hard as nails, it ain't hard to tell. I break them down whether they solid or frail. Unlike the rest, I'm independent since my first breath. First test, feel the right, then the worst left. Born on an island in the heavens, the blood of my ancestors flows inside.
Oh boy, I'm a lucky man. A really lucky man indeed. Now that is because today, I get to talk about Sonic, a franchise I have a strange relationship with. It's a series of blue, red shoes, edgelords, and a divided fanbase locked in a never-ending war. A war of death, destruction, and neckbeards. But before I get into any of that, I would like to preface this video by saying that the Sonic series is one that I grew up with, and that I, like many others, have a soft spot for the games. That being said, Sonic can be a polarizing topic. As I briefly mentioned before, the fanbase can be rather decisive, with some people taking their opinions a little too far. Some people say that the Genesis games are the best, others say that the Dreamcast games are superior, and a new wave of fans have arisen in the past few years preferring the modern titles. And there are some who say the series isn't even good at all. What fools. I pity them. As I said, some people take these opinions to the extreme. Just look at the comments of any Sonic Forces video. You'll see what I mean. It's literally a war zone. A battle of neckbeards, if you will. And trust me, they don't take prisoners. Moving on, there's the era that the fans have dubbed the Dreamcast era, consisting of Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2, and Sonic Heroes. While many have a seething hatred for the adventure games in particular, I actually kind of like the games for the most part. That's not to say that the games don't have their issues. Then again, every game is flawed, so that's not saying much. But recently, many YouTubers have been making videos tearing apart these games, laughing in the faces of those who once enjoyed them, telling how they are wrong for liking something.
I love you, Umaru.
Ahem. That brings us to the topic of today's review, Sonic Adventure. I'm going to review the GameCube remakes, but I will use clips of the original for comparison purposes. This video is a long one, so let's get into it.
So you thought you were going to review Sonic Adventure without me noticing, huh? Okay. Well, we got a good lawyer. This is a business after all. Nothing personal, kid.
I am the roughest of waves, I'm the toughest of terrors, I am the darkest of days.
Who is that nutcase that just intruded into my video? All I can say is that I hope he doesn't come back, or make any collabs with me in the future. What a total psychopath. Anyways, let's begin my unforgettable romp into a world where a blue rodent runs fast. The game has a larger story told through the 6 different perspectives of the playable characters that all connect with each other. On top of that, there are cutscenes, voice acting, and even some character development sprinkled in here and there. So for those of you who are interested in the extensive Sonic lore, this is your lucky day. I consider myself to be a scholar in Sonic the Hedgehog lore, so you can rest assured I'm not one of those filthy casuals like some people I know. Not giving any names, I don't even want to waste my time on those uneducated fools. But without any more stalling, let me give you a look into this plot. So grab some popcorn, Code Red Mountain Dew, your Razer Deathstalker Essential Gaming Keyboard, and a pair of scissors just in case things go sour. As I stated, there are multiple storylines in the game, so I'll give a quick synopsis for each, starting with the Blue Boy himself. We open with this wonderful scene that the internet won't let you forget about.
Oh yeah! This is happening!
I'll touch on the voice acting later, but as you saw, our boy Blahnik is having the most happening evening ever when he sees the police chasing after this blue monster thing. You fight him and then Sonic says this beautiful line.
Come on, you big drip! Where you going?
These lines are the best. But then we see Dr. Eggman standing on a rooftop for some reason. And he tells us that the Big Drip is Chaos, the god of destruction. That's what they used to call me in school. Those were the days. This is all great monologue, but what we really want to know is... But some things will never be found out, I guess. Next we see our pal Fast Blue at the swimming pool when he sees Tails almost crash his plane into the city, killing everybody. What a klutz, am I right, guys? Luckily, he only crashed on the beach and for some reason needs Tannic to come and get him. So after a finger-licking good stage, we find Tails and we learn that he has one of the 7 Chaos Emeralds, and that he wants to show us something at his workshop. And he says the fastest way is by train. I know this is kind of beating a dead horse here, but isn't Sonic the fastest thing alive? Why does he need to take a train?
But I digress.
So once they get there, they find a giant talking egg awaiting them. You have an excruciatingly easy boss fight with him, but Tails is such a bumbling fool that he manages to get his Dragon Ball stolen. Egg Boy then explains his entire plan to his enemies, I guess, and tells them that he's feeding Chaos the 7 legendary plot devices to become a big boy and destroy everything. So young Sheldon can build Robotnik land on the remains. So for the rest of Sonic's story, he has to get the emeralds before Eggman does. Along the way, he runs into other playable characters, climbs aboard the Egg Carrier, Eggman's new ship, loses Tails, goes into some ancient temple and beats up the egg-shaped man himself, ending his storyline. Tails' story is relatively the same, but with Tails getting some time to shine near the end when him and Sonic are separated. Knuckles' story involves him reclaiming the pieces of the Master Emerald after they are shattered by Chaos. Amy's story is about her finding this bird and running away from this robot thing named Zero. Wait a second, Zero? Is that you? Gamma, one of Eggman's robots, goes on missions until he decides to kill all of his robot friends because he talked to Amy. Okay. But his storyline does end with a great scene of him releasing the bird that was inside of him. Then we have Big the cat. He's fishing for his frog. I don't even have a joke. But all during this red circle named Takala is showing all the characters the past and the origins of Chaos. That about does it for the general story. I know I'm skipping over huge details, but if I don't, we'll be here all day. And I don't plan to sit here writing scripts all day about a story of a blue rat and his pals. I'm trying to stay as far away from the story as possible. Not because it's a bad story, mind you, it's just that explaining it is a nightmare. Because there's all the different perspectives, it's a complete dumpster fire talking about it to people. In most reviews I've seen of this game, you can just hear the pain and suffering the speaker is going through just by listening to them explain the plot.
You mean like in my review?
How does he keep getting in here? Why won't this maniac leave me alone? Anyways, my thoughts on the plot as a whole? I'm actually in the small percentage of people who like it. It's no masterpiece by any means, but if you're looking for a masterpiece storyline in a Sonic game, then there's something wrong with you. People seem to complain of plot holes, cheesy dialogue, and voice acting. But I would say it enhances the experience in my opinion. I'm pretty stupid, so I don't actually notice any of the plot holes, but when they're there, they don't really detract from the game. But cheesy dialogue and voice acting? Are you kidding me? These lines are legendary. Like this one.
Watch out! You're gonna crash! Ah!
Oh, and who can forget this masterpiece?
Oh no.
All jokes aside, Sonic Team really tried to give this game a story to remember, and it really succeeds, at least I think. Some could argue that Sonic Adventure 2's story, for as many issues that it has, is more engaging, and you'd be right. But something great about the adventure games as a whole, absent from the new titles, is character development. I find it neat that Sega wanted to expand upon the characters that so many people loved beforehand. That all being said, after you complete all the storylines, the last one is opened up, giving you the game's true ending, which I'll get to near the end of this video. Before jumping straight into the gameplay, an important thing of note is the voice casting. Voice acting in Sonic games was a new thing at this point, so finding just the right voice was very important. For the first time, you'd be officially granting a voice to previously silent characters. They had to be really careful, but did they succeed? Well, as you probably saw, the delivery for some of these lines is subpar at best, but I'm not going to blame the voice actors for this. I believe the voice director may be the one to blame, not the VAs themselves. I actually think the voice of the voice actors fit the characters quite nicely. Their direction does improve over time, but I would have to say that this is probably my favorite set of actors that the Sonic series has had. Hats off to you, Mr. Drummond. He's probably my favorite Sonic VA. I'm not a huge fan of the others, but I can admit that Roger Craig Smith does an okay Scronic voice. But his best work lies in this Pizza Hut commercial. It's what keeps me going in life. I've never heard anyone make stuffed crust sound so enticing.
It's unlike anything you've ever seen. For just $12.99, choose from 2 ultimate recipes for your crust. Meaty, packed with pepperoni, Italian sauce.
Aw, yeah, stuffed crust.
Pepperoni. Then meaty.
In this game, like I have stated, there are 6 gameplay storylines to play through, and after beating each one unlocks the final story. There's Speedy Blue, Smart Orange, Strong Red, Annoying Pink, He Who Shall Not Be Named, and Robot Man. Let's start with Sonic because he has the longest campaign with a total of 10 stages, and he's the one that you play first to unlock the other playable characters. I can say with almost complete certainty that he has the funnest gameplay style, and he's usually the reason people go back to play this game. Akin to the Genesis games, Sonic goes from point A to point B in a speedy fashion, with branching pathways, power-ups, and the occasional set piece here and there. Since obviously this is now in the 3rd dimension, the formula would have to be shaken up, so Sonic Team made the greatest thing to ever exist. That's right, I'm talking about the homing attack. Whenever I hear people talk about this game, they never seem to mention how satisfying it is to use. By jumping and hitting the jump button again in the air, Sonic can hone in on enemies, springs, and even do this useful air dash that is great for picking up speed very quickly. Just look at this thing go! Nothing can stop me now! A thing I can appreciate about these stages is that the gameplay is shaken up every now and then for the sake of variety and spectacle. One moment you could be playing the stage, then bam, this orca whale is chasing you. You could argue that this is only spectacle and no substance, but to those people I say lighten up. You don't go on a roller coaster and leave saying, that was too much spectacle, no player control. No, of course you wouldn't say that, you foolish novices. Lastly, all the action stages, all the fun parts, are connected by 3 hub worlds, where you access new stages and find upgrades. While I would have preferred no hub worlds in this case, it doesn't bother me too much. I just don't like having to push through them. I feel this game could have done without including hub worlds, but it's fine. You don't typically stay in them for too long. But anyways, that's most of what I have to say for Sonic's gameplay. We still have 5 more to go. Tails goes through almost the exact same stages as the old Fast Man, but with a twist. You race him! It's strangely satisfying using Tails' flight ability to look for shortcuts to beat Sonic. As I mentioned, it is cool to see him get character development. Next, let's talk about the Knuckles campaign.
Sounds like a lot of...
Oh no.
Sounds like a lot.
Oh no!
Sounds like a.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Yes! Finally! I've waited far too long for this! Nipples the Enchilada is searching for the shattered pieces of the Master Emerald using this radar system. In this game, collecting the pieces as Knuckles is satisfying, because the radar feels like it actually works. This isn't the case in some other game. Next on the chopping block is Pink Girl, who has to make it to the end of her stages without being caught by this guy. I'm very indifferent to her stages, but it's fun to do this triple jump with her hammer. Gamma has an interesting playstyle that involves some shooting down other robots with a lock-on to raise the depleting time limit. It's a good time, but that ringing noise that plays when you lock on to enemies annoys me to no end.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Please, make it stop! For the love of humanity! I've saved the best for last. You all love him. I idolize him. It's the god himself, Big the Cat. He is undoubtedly the greatest thing to ever come out of video games. His gameplay is masterfully crafted, breathtaking, and a sight to behold. Who am I to spoil the wonders that this cat provides? His gameplay is a true testament to what this medium can truly contain, what it can be as an art form. Me just simply explaining to you what Big does would never be able to do it justice. That being said, I'm furious they didn't make his return in Sonic Adventure 2. Even though fans were clamoring for his return, Sega just didn't go through with it. This is why you don't make consoles anymore, you animals! That just about wraps up the gameplay. It's something that this game gets right most of the time. I personally love the variety the game provides. This game's presentation is kind of a mixed bag. The environments look pretty good but somewhat feel lacking in polish. But the animations for the character models, especially during cutscenes, look abysmal. The models themselves look much better in the GameCube remake, but the animation still isn't fixed there. The lip syncing is way off and the facial movements are laughably janky in both versions. Luckily, the game's cutscenes fall under so bad it's good territory. But you know what isn't a mixed bag? The soundtrack. I absolutely love this game's music. It can be atmospheric, catchy, and is always fun to listen to. One of my favorite aspects of the adventure games is that the characters get their own vocal tracks. They're extremely cheesy, sure, but I love them nonetheless. And then best of all, the Knuckles raps. I don't care if you disagree with me, these raps are the pinnacle of human creation. Overall, the game has a great soundtrack and the visuals aren't too bad, but definitely could be better. So after you've beaten all the storylines, the final one has opened up. It turned out that Chaos wasn't actually defeated on the egg carrier and found the 7 Chaos Pickles, turning him to perfect chaos. With the city flooded, it's here where you turn into Super Tanic, and you have a climactic final battle, with the main theme playing in the background. Just listen to that.
Run for shelter, what's gonna happen to us? All the things we take up, we need to make up. I messed with lyrics.
Not him again! Get out of my life! Anyway, this is a fun boss fight, and a great way to cap off this adventure. Sonic Adventure 1 is a fun game. I think it's definitely worth your time. It's important to develop your own opinion on a game before you judge it, but this is made difficult due in part to the people who blindly hate SA1 or blindly love it for that matter. Thank you for watching, and if you liked it, subscribe if you want. Have a great day.
You're too slow, you're too slow, you're too slow. Come on, stop. step it up. You're too slow, you're too slow, you're too slow. Come on, step it up. Sonic's not cheap, he's just fast. Sonic's not cheap, he's just fast. Sonic's not cheap, he's just fast. You're too slow, come on, step it up. Sonic's the name, speed's my game. Sonic's the name, you're too slow. Sonic's the name, speed's my game. Sonic's the name, come on, step it up. You're too slow, you're too slow.
Hey fellas! Today I have a real gem of a review for you all. It's something that you've all been asking for. I know this guy wants it. You know me, the greatest YouTuber ever. So who am I to ignore a suggestion from one of my adoring fans? It's your lucky day, pal. So today, I'm reviewing
Undertale.
But before we start, I have some issues that need to be addressed. I don't know how to put this, but I made a grave mistake. A mistake that has the potential to turn the universe on its head. I awakened a force I can't even begin to comprehend. I shouldn't have said his name. They say it's a bad omen. They all said he was just a myth, but I knew the truth. They thought I was insane, but he was always there, awaiting to return. I am a fool, really. How could I have been so naive? But he is back, and hunting me down as we speak. Him. He's already commented on all my videos. He is drawing closer. Just promise me you won't listen to his lies. But with that out of the way, I know you all came for this Undertale review, so let's get things rolling. I'm Sam, and this is my review of Undertale.
Hey y'all, I bet you wonder who I am. I mean, who doesn't know me, am I right? But for those who don't get the picture, let me tell ya. They call me by many names. Cyroslash88, Cool Guy 5, XX360 Headshot, XX, just to name a few. Man, since we're friends, I'll let you call you by my true name, Tyler. My name is one that strikes fear in the hearts of many. I was sealed away in the confines of this room for so long, but the barrier is wearing thin. You know what that means? I can finally return to my realm and complete some unfinished business. So, pretty much there's this guy, his name's, Flounder? Flounder, Bass, yeah, that's the name. He's been posting videos on my channel in my absence. Well, let's just say he's got another thing coming. Once I break out of this cursed infernal room, I will finally be able to enact my revenge on this scum, this poser. I can also enact revenge on those 7 old fools who sealed me away. Once I get the 3 second items, the world will bend up to my will. Or will it? Yeah, it will. Just you wait, fish. I got another thing coming for you soon. Justice will be swift. Villages will burn. I will have at least 200 subscribers. You'll see. I'll prove them all wrong. I'll be the most popular kid in school. People will finally love me. They won't know what's going to hit them.
What's up, fam? It's your boy Trey from TCS Gaming. You should subscribe to my channel because I make some really dope content and stuff. See ya!
So that's my review / analysis of the greatest game to ever exist on this planet. I hope you all enjoyed. I spent many hours of my time just to please my hordes of adoring fans. Stay safe and have a nice night, everybody. This is Fishman signing out.
Salmon, I thought I put a restraining order on you. Why are you calling me?
Hello, Jack of Jack's Gaming Zone. How have you been? It's been a while. I was thinking about doing a collab with you for quite some time. Perhaps Metal Gear Solid?
Metal Gear?
Yes, Jack. Metal Gear.
No. I'm never associating with you again, not after that incident.
Come on, Jack. We go a long way back.
You know you want to collab.
Well, I guess we both need money. I already owe Trey enough money as it is.
Then it's settled. My first collab. I can't wait.
What's wrong? Snake! Snake!
I am back once again. You thought you could get rid of me, didn't you? Guess again. I have come with a spicy hot new video for your eyeballs to consume on this very day. Me being the expert tactician I know I am, I strategically roped in an unsuspecting fool to aid me in my Metal Gear Solid review today. You all love him. I completely despise him. Everyone give a hand for Jack's Gaming World.
Hello there guys, I'm some random guy from a YouTube channel you've probably never heard of. But enough about that, let's cut straight through the pointless filler and get to it. And how could we start an MGS review without mentioning the man behind the curtain, Hideo Kojima, the director of the Metal Gear franchise.
Before Daddy Kojima's claim to fame with the Metal Gear series, he got to start with some Penguin game for the MSX that nobody cares about. He's made a few other notable titles such as Snatcher, Police Nuts, and Zone of the Enders, which all have a decent cult following.
Mr. Kojima would eventually strike gold with a title called Metal Gear, released on the MSX home computer in Japan of '87. It later got a sequel titled Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, which was also for the MSX. However, it wasn't until the PlayStation with Metal Gear Solid where the series became a smash hit worldwide.
Now, since this is quite the meaty game in terms of story, we'll try to trim the fat as best we can. I should also mention that if you have not played Metal Gear 1 and 2 on the MSX, which I'm sure is a lot of people, then you can go into the briefing menu and get yourself caught up. One of Metal Gear Solid's main draws is its movie-like plot and involved story. So if you care about spoilers, skip ahead. Like seriously, this game is heavily plot-driven.
Legendary mercenary Solid Snake has been once again pulled out of retirement by Commanding Officer Roy Campbell to infiltrate Shadow Moses Island and take down the new and improved Foxhound. He also needs to locate the DARPA chief and the Armstech president, as well as gather intel on the supposed existence of a new Metal Gear.
This won't be a walk in the park either, as Snake will have to do battle with some of the rogue members of Foxhound. Vulcan Raven, a man with a giant Gatling gun the size of Jack's ego, Sniper Wolf with bullets about as effective as your average pistol, Psycho Mantis who can read your mind, not to mention your memory card, and Decoy Octopus, a man with disguises so good it could give you a heart attack.
Salmon, that was a good one.
Shut up, Jack. You know I'm only in this for your subs.
Oh.
Then we have Revolver Ocelot, who's a character I can really sympathize with. I too love being a sadist and spinning a gun around like a total madman. Pay attention to this guy, he remains a central character for the rest of the MGS series.
Last but not least, we have Liquid Snake, Solid Snake's counterpart, and he has some of the most corniest, most British lines in the entire game, which automatically makes them the best lines.
Snake, however, is not alone on his mission, as he's got a team of people to help him out. Colonel Campbell, Snake's commander, who gives helpful advice every now and then, along with Naomi Hunter, who is totally on our side and isn't shady in the slightest.
There's also Mei Ling, the best waifu in the game. Master Miller returns from Metal Gear 2 sporting badass shades and a voice performance on par with that of Liquid Snake.
Finally, we have Nastasha Romanenko, a weapons expert that will give you the rundown as to the various uses of your expansive arsenal. What a babe! Of course I didn't need help from her because I'm already a weapons expert myself. You can call them at any point through codec, but at no point are you ever required to do so. This provides new players with the help they need while also not being intrusive to returning players.
I'd never call them, that's what GameFAQs is for. Crawling his way through a couple of rat-infested air ducts, Snake soon finds Donald Anderson. He informs Snake of a new type of Metal Gear, codenamed Rex.
To make the situation worse, Snake also learns that the members of Foxhound do indeed have the means to launch a nuclear strike. It appears this plot has proved too much for even the characters of the story to handle, as Mr. Anderson requests that Snake shoot him dead until collapsing from a heart attack. As we said back in my day, got him.
Right after, Snake is held at gunpoint by a woman in disguise who you'll later come to know as Meryl, Campbell's niece. We don't have time to dwell on that though, as we have a rather clunky shooting section. Snake catches his first glimpse of Psycho Mantis, as well as something else if you know what I mean.
Our next stop is to rescue President Baker, who as luck would have it is surrounded by a bunch of explosives. Revolver Ocelot steps out of the shadows, forcing him and Snake to commence in the most manly game of tag ever witnessed by human eyes.
In the end, though, Ocelot ends up getting his ass handed to him.
You make me sick!
Ocelot's hand gets sliced off by an individual who clearly takes his anime way too seriously and decides to retreat for the time being. You know, I've always wondered something. What the hell was the point of, avoiding the explosions if the ninja was going to blow them up anyway?
With Baker surprisingly not dead, he tells Snake about his involvement with the Metal Gear project and why it's of interest to him. There's a lot of fluff here, but the short answer is money.
Baker directs Snake to Dr. Hal Emmerich, creator of Metal Gear X and the facility's head scientist. In addition, he gives Snake a data disk containing Metal Gear data. He also knows Meryl's codec number, but before he can tell you it, heart attack. Any input on this, Campbell?
I have no idea.
Good to know.
You contact Meryl by looking at the back of the game case. One of the screenshots actually shows Meryl's codec number. That slithery, sneaky, glasses-wearing genius. This is one of the many fourth wall breaks in the Metal Gear series that really shows the game's charm.
That is indeed something I love about Metal Gear. It takes its subject matter seriously in the sense that nukes are bad, okay? But at the same time, it's not afraid to have a little bit of fun with itself. I know a lot of people found fault with MGS4 in terms of its continuity and retcons and just overall self-indulgence, but I don't really care because the overall story is just fun to be a part of. In other words, it doesn't sacrifice enjoyment for the sake of artistic integrity.
Wow, Jack, that was very thought-provoking and analytical of you to say.
You really think so?
No. Snake and Meryl plan to meet up near the communications tower. Before that, Snake comes across Vulcan Raven piloting a massive tank, a destructive force that is a mere insect when stacked up against a middle-aged man and his endless supply of grenades.
Snake gets contacted by somebody called Deep Throat, who tells Snake how to make it to Emmerich's room without, getting lungs full of poison.
Before Snake can ask Emmerich what he knows, he's greeted by the cyborg ninja. After beating him in a boss fight that's more disjointed than one of Jack's jokes, you find out Campbell appears to know a thing or two about the ninja's identity. He theorizes that it could be Snake's old war buddy Grey Fox. He and Snake fought in Metal Gear 2 with Grey Fox biting the bullet. Snake wastes no time in asking Emmerich what he knows about Rex and its abilities to fire off a nuclear weapon. In reality, he wasn't intending to use it as a weapon at all. He was just inspired by the robots in those Korean cartoons he saw and thought it looked cool, so he wanted to make one himself. This exchange between Snake and Otacon highlights two things. The first is that although inventions like these can do some horrific things, the people behind them aren't always bad people and do it for the sake of scientific research. Maybe they're just like you, a fan of those Chinese finger paintings.
The second thing that it establishes is the influence of the media we consume. Think about it for a second. I bet you've heard quite a few stories in the past of, somebody joining the army after enjoying a game of Call of Duty. Keep in mind, I am not at all saying that these types of video games lead to violent behaviour. I am merely suggesting that they may have inspired them to enroll, the same way that these games also inspire me to make videos about them. In an odd twist of irony, I've even heard people say they enrolled because of Metal Gear Solid, which is, yeah. After that, Snake and Mel meet up to have a thought-provoking talk about war. In a restroom of all places. Meryl wonders whether she belongs on a battlefield and asking Snake why he does that sort of thing. She also holds one of the 3 keycards we need to stop the nuclear launch. Not too long after, Meryl starts acting very strangely, though Snake is too dead inside to take note of her advances.
My boy Snake sure missed an opportunity. But just then, it turns out Psycho Mantis has taken control of Meryl's mind and your controller. That's just one more thing I don't have control over in my life. This is another thing we love about Metal Gear Solid. The constant fourth wall breaks and subtle jokes the game throws at you every now and then. It makes the game feel unpredictable and really gives it the soul that the MGS series is known for. When Psycho Mantis is talking to me, it really breaks apart the little perception I still have in knowing what's real or not.
You even defeat the boss by putting the controller into the second port. Sure, it's something that most people know by now, but it's still really cool. He reveals his backstory and you move on.
Snake and Meryl soon meet Sniper Wolf, another member of Foxhound. Oh, and she's probably immune to bullets, just thought you should know. She reads Meryl like a book and cross-maps her with relative ease. But to fight back Sniper Wolf and save Meryl, Snake has to backtrack a really long time to get a sniper rifle.
This part is kinda needless and is just there to extend game time. Snake returns to the fight only to see that Meryl is gone. You trade bullets for a while and you assume that Sniper Wolf is dead. as she should be, considering you shot her with a sniper rifle. I mean, it would be pretty stupid to have her oh.
Haha, nope! Much like all the other villains in this game, Sniper Girl is practically immortal and captures you with the help of some guards. This is where you meet one-on-one with a British mastermind.
What are you looking at me like that for?
Liquid Snake, the man, the myth, the brother.
He rants on to you for a very long time and proceeds to leave you and Ocelot alone, and thus the most painful, most hand-destroying part of the game commences. This section is the worst. Salmon, would you mind explaining for our wonderful viewers at home?
I've been training for this, and the day has finally come. Hands down, as you heard from Jack, it's one of the most infuriating and stressful moments in the entire game. Ocelot is traveling an electric current through your body, and you have to mash circle to restore health as it is depleting very fast. Sounds easy, right?
No!
And I don't know about you, Jack, but if I let this pile of polygons die, I wouldn't be able to live with myself. So I tried, and tried. I tried until my hands were nothing but a jumbled mess of cramps and depression, but I did do it. You are saved, my sweet...
The worst part is that if you die here, you have to go back to your previous save. You can submit by pressing select, but if you want the good ending, you have to keep going until you get it right. Not only do you have to do this once, but upwards to 3 times if you're not creative enough in your escape. And if you give up, it's heavily implied that Meryl dies.
But oh no! Who's that in your cell?
It turns out that the DARPA chief you talked to wasn't the real one. This was Decoy Octopus. You know, that person we mentioned earlier on that clearly exists. The real one has been dead and rotting away in this cell for quite a long time now. Now, there are a few different ways you can escape the cell. You can either wait until Grey Fox bails you out, you can use the bottle of ketchup that Oscorn gives you, or you can just simply sneak under the bed.
You grab all your stuff that was conveniently in this box, then you gotta finna go all the way back to where you got caught, but not before your pal, Deep Throat, lets you know that Ocelot placed a bomb in your items. What a trickster. But once you take out the obvious bomb in your inventory, you can finally look for the babe. But oh boy, here we go. Get ready for the longest and most frustrating staircase of all time.
In this part, you come across a tower with a staircase. Not only does this drag on for a very long time, but enemies attack you. Oh, fun! As we'll go over later, combat is very clunky in this game. In this section in particular, you are forced into a never-ending stream of blokes that constantly block your way up.
What's a bloke?
Is that British? I'm just gonna say it's British because I'm British.
Along the way, Snake runs into Otacon, who just so happens to have just used the elevator. He asks Snake if he thinks love can bloom on a battlefield.
Kiss him, you fool. There may never be another chance.
Of course, this is just to set up Otacon getting his emotional beating when his waifu for lifeu gets shot and dies. Funny enough, by the man he calls his best friend.
Hey man, I'm just a little bit worried that people will think that we're not taking this serious analytical video seriously enough. I mean, we should really stop with this weeb terminology. I mean, did I mention how serious this serious video is supposed to be?
Jack?
Yes, Salmon?
You're an idiot.
This moment is also an attempt to humanise Snake and acts as a contrast to the conversation about war we had with Meryl. I would argue that this scene is more effective if you let Meryl die, as it just seems a little bit more genuine to me. I don't see Snake as the type of character to bring this stuff up unless he was really backed into an emotional corner.
So you rappel down a building, grab a Stinger missile, and with the help of Otacon's pep talk, Snake manages to somehow defeat a Hind D.
Power of friendship! Yay!
Finally, Snake is once again met face to face with Sniper Wolf, who after challenging Snake to another 1v1 deathmatch, she dies with the sad howling of wolves. You can actually use a sniper, or you can just fire remote-controlled missiles to where she can't hit you like a jerk. It also goes the same way to humanize Snake himself. While it's debatable that he actually enjoys killing people in the battlefield, he at least has enough respect for his opponents to let them die with dignity when they request it.
I have to be honest, the members of Foxhound, specifically Wolf and Psycho Mantis, are characters that I was actually sad to see go. They are bad, yes, but they still have humanity to them. This is evidenced through the way Mantis helps you progress and Wolf's kindness towards Otacon. While on the way to confront Vulcan Raven, Snake gets contacted by Master Miller. He tells Snake that there's something suspicious going on with this Naomi character, and that, well, to get straight to the point, there is.
As Naomi informed us at the start of the game, he was injected with nanomachines so that he wouldn't have to worry about death by hyperthermia or hunger. What we didn't know at the time was that inside the nanomachines lies Fox Dye.
Fox Die is a virus pre-programmed to attach itself and kill specific people by simulating a heart attack. This was arranged by the Pentagon and is currently being used to target the remaining Foxhound members. The problem is that due to Naomi's vendetta against Snake after what he did to Big Boss, it was made to target him as well.
Regardless, Snake soldiers on because, like your average YouTube vlogger, what better things does he have to do with his life?
Snake finds his way into the Metal Gear hangar and eavesdrops on the conversation between Ocelot and Liquid. They also name drop one Colonel Galukovich, who we will see in the next game, no doubt.
Of course, given that Snake absolutely sucks at being stealthy, Ocelot shoots the keycard out of his hands into a nearby ditch. After a tedious game of back and forth, Snake manages to use different room temperatures to get the keys he needs to deactivate Rex.
Only problem is that it was never activated in the first place, causing Snake to activate it. Wow. At this point, Snake gets a call from none other than Master Miller, who is, as you might have guessed, Liquid Snake with sunglasses. Genius. You know, I would comment on the clever use of voice acting, but I'm not gonna bother because practically everyone's talked about it at this point.
That's because I will. Back when voice acting for video games had a smaller budget, they would tend to reuse voice actors to save cash, and when Master Miller and Liquid had a very similar voice, you would think that it was only a limitation of its time. But nope, it was all part of the twist.
Did you like my sunglasses?
Yes.
So Liquid complains about his genes for a little bit and then decides to kill you from the safety of his mechanical dinosaur.
Otacon is such a loser that he created Rex to have a weak spot, so you attack there for a while, but then Grey Fox comes in to save the day, or just to get squashed like the cybernetic cockroach he is. I mean, whatever comes first.
It turns out that Grey Fox was actually the one that killed Naomi's parents. So after you pump Liquid full of stinger missiles, there's a huge explosion and you black out.
Surely Liquid, the British mastermind himself, is dead now, right, Jack? Right?
About that, Salmon. You see...
He's still alive, isn't he?
Yeah, you could say that. When you wake up, you're greeted by the luxurious golden locks of Liquid Snake, who then decides to dump about half a day's worth of exposition on you. Terrible. Whatever that, it's called that. It turns out that Solid and Liquid were actually created from a Big Boss cloning project.
Die! Die! Die!
Hi, Salmon, you're back. Where did you...
See you in hell, vile creature! Okay, now he's dead. Oh hey Jack, I'm back.
Yeah, I noticed.
Anyways, after you battle Liquid to the death, shirtless, you find out an airstrike is coming your way, so you gotta escape Shadow Moses with Meryl.
Or Otacon if you're bad at video games.
Not yet, Snake!
No!
It's not over yet!
No!
Well, great, the fish is gone again. So as you can see, Liquid is still alive and chasing you down. You have a bit of a chase sequence, and then Liquid, like a genius, decides to park his car right in front of you.
Oh, what's up, Jack? Sorry about that.
Snake and your companion make it out alive, and Liquid finally dies through heart attack. It turns out that we're all just being pranked. There wasn't going to be any airstrikes after all. Ah, what jokers. No, it's cool, I get it, ad revenue's down.
Snake says his goodbyes to Colonel and Naomi. She says that Snake should live the rest of his life to the fullest, regardless of the limited time he has left. Meryl and Snake ride off into the distance to live their life.
Or Otacon, don't forget Best Girl.
A very touching ending to the game as a whole. It gives me a lot of hope for my sad, hopeless life.
This ending is definitely amplified by this amazing credits theme, the best has yet to come. After the credits roll, we're left on a bit of a plot twist that Ocelot was actually working for the president as a spy. All in all, this game's story is truly amazing for its time. While some of the cutscenes can be a bit long, bordering on silly in some cases, at least it's fun to watch, unlike, say, the first Assassin's Creed game.
I'd say the game's story is one of its biggest strong suits. It glues you to the screen because you really want to know what happens next. It makes you want to keep playing on. The story is aided by its absolutely superb voice acting. The game came out in an age where good video game voice acting was hard to find, but these actors knock it out of the park.
Nearly all the actors do a great job. Cam Clark as Liquid, Paul Eading as Colonel Campbell, Christopher Randolph as Otacon, and of course David Hayter as Snake are all amazing. It's just a shame that Konami nor Kojima saw this and decided to replace David Hayter for the 5th game, because why?
Overall, as a newcomer, I had a great time with the story. It was well written, directed, and voice acted. A clap and a half, old Kojima, you rascal. Jack, is that for you?
Yeah, hold on a sec. Hello?
Hello, Jack of Jack's Gaming World.
Okay, Trey, for the last time, it's Jack's Gaming Zone, and besides, what the heck are you doing?
Brother, how have you been? It sure has been a while.
Fine? Didn't we just do a collab a little while ago?
These are separate universes. Anyways, I just wanted to alert you that our battle to the death will happen soon, brother.
Okay, but why?
You know very well why, Jack. It's destiny. We will meet soon enough in the field of battle.
What?
Tyler sends his regards.
Who is that?
I don't know, I've never met that person in my life. Let's carry on.
Okay.
On to the gameplay now. Yes, Metal Gear is a video game. Who knew? Metal Gear Solid's controls can seem fairly complex at first glance, but give it some time and it will eventually grow on you.
You obviously control Snake with the analog stick.
But I don't have a DualShock.
Well, not everyone is you, Jack. Pressing the X button will allow Snake to crouch. Giving a directional command will then have Snake crawl across the ground, useful for taking shortcuts or entering air ducts. Finally, Snake can use the L2 and R2 buttons to select the various weapons you'll pick up on your mission.
This neat gizmo on the top right hand corner of the screen is your Soliton radar. This white dot in the middle is Snake. The yellow dots are your enemies. The cone represents your field of vision.
What? Are you just reading directly off the game script?
No.
When your enemy spots you, they'll go into an alert state and your navigation will be jammed. When this happens, it's up to you to find any means of escape, whether that being hiding under something or just straight slaughtering everybody. But this isn't what I'd call intelligent AI by any stretch. They do, however, react to small things like your bullets being fired, your footsteps on metal surfaces, and at one time your footprints in the snow.
When you say it like that, it really does make them seem more intelligent than a lot of other games on the market at the time. The problem is that for a stealth game, there really isn't much to stealth past, at least as far as enemies go. There are only like 1 or 2 soldiers per room, if that, and I'm pretty sure the total head count is less than 30 throughout the entire duration of the game. The game does do a good job of intersplicing action set pieces in between, so even if there isn't much to stealth, you won't really notice that much.
Once you extend your health bar and you get better weapons, it's possible just to stand in the corner and shoot all the enemies, which kind of defeats the purpose of a stealth game.
Snake can get his hands on a lot of weapons in this game, like a remote-controlled missile, which can be used in a lot of creative ways.
Speaking of boss battles, well, there's a thing that happens, I guess. I know a lot of people adore this aspect of the game, but we don't really know what the big fuss is about. They're either incredibly uneventful and easy, such as the case with this tank, or they could be incredibly clunky, like the point with Grey Fox, where you have to throw your weapons to beat him with a flurry of punches and kicks. Incidentally, you also do the same thing with Liquid at the end of the game, and it's just as bad there.
On top of that, most of the bosses apply a smoke and mirrors tactic to give the illusion that they're more complex and difficult than they actually are. I'm thinking of the fan favourite Psycho Mantis in particular. Once you know this trick, any and all nuance this boss might have had is completely gone. In addition, Metal Gear Solid isn't a cult classic, it's a hugely popular PlayStation 1 action game. Even if it's not your first playthrough, chances are you already know of this little exploit by now.
We aren't going to pretend like there are any good bosses to speak of, though. Vulcan Raven, for example, combines the stealth and action together. Avoiding his line of sight and knowing where he'll go is the key to beating him. The bosses that don't work like the ones we mentioned generally put too much focus on combat when you can clearly tell that MGS is not built with that in mind.
Graphically speaking, Metal Gear Solid is certainly a good looking game for the PlayStation, though it is definitely dated in a few areas. Some more than others. While the interior of the base may be dark and brooding a lot of the time, it's surprisingly varied in terms of aesthetics. Whether that be a furnace, a freezer, or a fancy restroom, there's never really a dull moment here. Some areas are even primarily designed around stealth, such as the room with the nuclear weapons, where your guns are disabled and you're forced to tread carefully.
On top of that, sometimes an area will have different ways to approach them, meaning that it's up to you how you want to go about this mission. The biggest example is at the beginning of the game, where you're told about 2 points of entry, ultimately leaving it up to you to decide which one you take. Granted, not every area is like this, but the keycards restrict you from just going anywhere you please. But it's always best to keep an eye out. From a musical standpoint, MGS is certainly no slouch in that department. The two obvious standouts here are the final theme of the game, The Best Is Yet to Come, and the MGS main theme, which practically defines stealth, despite the fact that it's potentially plagiarized, but let's ignore that.
This is one of those soundtracks where I think it's better listened to while actually playing the game itself. They're good tracks, don't get me wrong, but they certainly aren't something you go out your way to listen to. At least, not for me.
The kicker is that unless you're playing the game on a harder difficulty, not including cutscenes, Metal Gear Solid will only take you a maximum of 5 hours to beat, even less when you know where to go. That's not a bad thing if the game is fun, which it is, but a lot of the enjoyment from Metal Gear comes from the story. It is possible to skip it, but you'd be missing out on 50% of the package. And with that, guys, ends the MGS Review collab thing. I hope you enjoyed it, and...
Not yet, Salmon!
It's not over yet!
Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes, a GameCube remake developed by Silicon Knights, the same people behind Eternal Darkness.
But I haven't played that game.
Well then I guess you're gonna have to shut up and listen then, won't you, Salmon? Graphically speaking, the game has seen some drastic changes, most notably, the characters' faces don't look like they're made out of melted cheese. Think of Twin Snakes in a similar fashion to the Pokemon remakes, sporting the changes and additions made up until that point in the series. In this case, Twin Snakes has the same mechanics as MGS2, and man does that feel good. Hanging off ledges, first person aiming, tranquilizer guns, peeking around corners, oh yes! Enemy soldiers have gotten quite a bit more intelligent since last time. They will call for backup if they see an unconscious body or one of their teammates isn't responding. And if they do, you better get the hell out of Dodge, because they will hunt you down like a pack of dogs. Psycho Mantis' mind reading has now been changed to include more Nintendo games as opposed to Konami games from before. The voice acting has also been completely redone, and while I do think the lines are more competently read here, I'm not gonna lie, I do miss the silliness of the original, especially in Liquid's case. A huge point of contention for a lot of people is the over-the-top nature of the cutscenes, but I just don't see it. Make no mistake, they are over the top to be sure, but MGS has never really been grounded in reality to begin with, so I never really did take them all that seriously. If you want to play MGS1, this is the version I would recommend to people above all. Or at least that's what I would be saying if it weren't so damn expensive. I don't regret my purchase, but even still it didn't come cheap. It's never been re-released either, so your only option is a physical copy, I'm afraid. This concludes our Metal Gear Solid review. Hopefully we did a good job of explaining everything. This game is packed to the brim with plot and a little bit of gameplay on the side.
Metal Gear Solid is a classic that everyone should play at least once. Its riveting story and gameplay makes it a hard game to forget. Thank you all for watching, and have a great day.
That was a pretty fun collab, wasn't it, Salmon?
No.
Oh, didn't see you there. You may know me as Fish or Salmon, but today we're in my kitchen. Welcome. Today we're going to be making some curry. You know, the one that they find in those Chinese cartoons. So, without any further ado, let's just get into it. Alright, so you're probably wondering, how do I make this? What do I need? So, you're going to need a carrot, first of all. A peeled carrot. Then a peeled potato, and this onion. On top of that, you're going to need this beef, this premium gourmet beef. It's perfect. And to continue in the gourmet trend, we have gourmet blend mushrooms. That's pretty cool. And now we have this chicken broth. It will come in handy later. And this soy sauce that I got from Publix. All right. And then also back here we have some rice in this machine. Also this thing. Let's get right into the cooking, shall we?
Don't lose your way. Your mind is free, you have to be. All else wants, don't be afraid. Let's be fun. This is the way to be prosperous.
Girls are bad and gay, and I don't like them. That's too much. Hey fellas, so we got everything chopped up right here. Me and my associate chopped everything up, and we have the rice cooking that's integral to this recipe. All right, so without further ado, we're gonna put all of this in that pan, and it's gonna be really cool, and you guys are all gonna like it. Doesn't this look delish?
Not really.
What are you saying?
It's raw meat, raw potatoes, and onion.
Well, you're gay. Now we're gonna get the seasoning. It's ground ginger. The meat. Blood red. Yes. Oh yes.
Can I touch that?
Yeah, fam. Whoa, cool. All my haters die. Welcome to Cooking with Fish, where all haters die. You guys ready for the money shot? Well, bam! This is curry mix. You put it in that thing. Look how good that looks. Aren't you guys proud of me? Aren't you guys proud of me?
No.
Break off a piece of this chocolate, and then we put it in that there soup right there.
Actually, it's like a stew more than a soup. So.
Actually, you're wrong, and I hate you. You better shut the camera off right now. Hey guys. So last time you saw me, we were like sauteing everything, but now we're just leaving it to simmer. So look at that stuff simmering. Doesn't it look good? All right. So now we got the rice is finished. Now we gotta wait for these like those rock hard potatoes to cook. Ooh. The smell of children in the morning. Old Ramsey always told me, if you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. So that's why we brought this fan in here. Our lit curry is done. Doesn't it look delicious? I'm gonna put it in the rice over here. Gotta get it on camera. Alright guys, so we've done with our curry here. So just check it out, doesn't it look great? So, alright, see you guys next time for another exciting episode of Cooking with Fish. Sorry to keep you waiting, ladies.
Fish, you're like my hero. I don't know what we would do without you.
Well, I'm pretty much just that awesome.
Wait, I think he's coming back. Ah!
Wait, who's coming?
Fish, long time no see. Do you enjoy my lolly dungeon? It's the pride of this city. You didn't come here to take away my lovelies, did you?
As a matter of fact, I did, Trey. Your reign of terror ends now.
I doubted insolent fools like you could ever understand the majesty that I have here. This world has no use for cretins like you. I expected as much. Now, I will take your life. Prepare yourself.
That's how I save the world. Man, what a time to be alive. My amazing review channel is really blowing up. My hit cooking show just released. I have so many friends, and it's a beautiful day outside. Let's just open up these blinds, shall we? How lovely. It's so beautiful that I almost forget that I review video games on the internet. Ah, what is that? You aren't getting away, fam. Come back here. Shoot, he got away.
Or at least he brought me this loot crate. I just love Loot Crate. Whoa, a note for me! And a video game. You know how much I just love those. Let's just read this. Howdy, old friend. I'm glad to see you're doing so well for yourself. You remember me, right?
How could you forget your old buddy, Tyler? But you haven't heard from me in a while. 100 years in the Shadow Realm really does something to you, man, you know? Something big is on the horizon, and let's just say you won't want to miss it. I would like to make amends with you, buddy. And I know how much you love those video games, so I got you some to play. See you real soon, pal. Yours truly, the ultimate life form, Tyler.
No, not this guy. No way! He couldn't have escaped! This is bad. This is really bad. I need to round up the boys!
It's been a while, Fish. Have you missed me?
No. That's the dabbing guy in my Sonic video. What is he doing on my computer machine?
I just wanted to let you know that when you stepped up to Tyler in the war nearly 100 years ago, you made a big mistake. Yep, you really cooked it, my man. If you haven't already guessed, the TCS Gaming channel is in alliance with Tyler. Our boy. Our god. I suggest you play the games he so graciously gave to you. I know where you are, Fish Boy. And I'm not afraid to end your life if you do not play them. Sayonara, you disgusting pig.
Oh no, I guess I have no choice. Maybe I could escape.
If I see you leave your house, I will cut you down with my amazing katana skills, Fish Boy.
Why is it always reviews? I don't even like making them. Gubble. I mean, it doesn't look that bad. Alright, so this looks like a PS1 game, so I guess you just put it in the PlayStation. Did my PlayStation just scream at me? Well, you're gonna play it whether you like it or not, honey. Alright, I should be ready. Got my cool reviewer hat on. Well, let's make an amazing video, like always. Alright, I have no idea what to think right now. What's a gubble? Why do I feel so scared? Oh, hello there. I don't even know what to say. The opening cutscene is so awful that they couldn't even fade to black correctly. It flashes white after the transition. This isn't a good sign. I haven't even pressed a button on the controller yet and I can feel my ambitions and emotions being sucked out of me. This game is so elusive, I don't really see anyone talking about it. There's barely any information or videos on this game besides the Game Grumps episode. But one of the strangest things about it is whenever you look under shopping for the game, it has quite a bit of merchandise, at least more than you would expect. Like, what are these shirts? If I showed up to a party with a shirt on, everyone there would just take turns beating me. All I care about is Gubble, and maybe 3 people, and pizza. Who makes these? Upon further inspection, there's a Gubble website, Lazinger Studio. Hold on, they give piano lessons? Gubble history? Wait, Gubble 20th Anniversary Edition? What world is this? What is Gubble? What are these shirts? Playing this game will give us the answers we seek. That's enough stalling, let's dive in face first into this ocean of mystery. Okay, so thankfully we have a storyline provided to us. With a name like Gubble, you know the story has to be godly. I expect nothing less. So our man Gubble, Gubble, was chillin', you know, being cool, when all of a sudden this unnamed spaceship just abducts our boy. Come back here with Gubble, I'll crush you. So it turns out Gubble was a chosen hero destined from birth to remove all screws from this new planet he was dropped in. This is our motivation, our call to action, and what a call it is. But so many questions are left unanswered and for the viewer to come to terms with. What is Gubble? Why must he go through with his destiny? What is Gubble saying? Gubble is just a masterpiece of modern storytelling and is up there with Shaq Fu and The Last of Us for best video game storyline. Gubble gives you just enough, but not too much. It keeps it simple, yet effective. I haven't even played the game yet and I respect it more than I respect myself. Man, I wonder what the gameplay has in store for us. Oh boy, I just can't contain myself. I just might... Novice or expert? Well, I mean, I am God, so... Alright, so let's get down to business, my children. Gubble's story is so captivating that I forgot I was even playing a game. Gubble, on the surface, just seems like a simple puzzle game, similar to Pac-Man, where you go through each stage using different tools to unscrew everything, avoiding enemies and accessing bonus stages. World 1, or a Renegar, is painfully easy. If you ever feel threatened, just hover with X and nothing can attack you. The maps are so small and I can actually see Gubble. That becomes a problem later on, trust me. But for now, it's all smooth sailing, besides the fact that the game's kinda boring. You will have no idea what's to come and neither did I. About halfway through the second world, the game slaps you in the genitals and things are never the same after that. Gubble goes from a relaxing walk in the park to one of the most tedious and unholy things I have ever had the displeasure of playing. The screen is zoomed out so far in some of the stages, just look at this. You see that little purple dot on the screen? Yeah, that's me. Everything is way more elaborate and has an obnoxious amount of screws, which make each stage take upwards of 2 to 3 minutes to complete. On top of this, enemies are annoying and everywhere. It's like they know your every move before you do it. These random objects invade your mind, sink your teeth in and never let go. Look at this, what am I supposed to do? You can't hover to avoid the scum, and there's like 20 of them. Ugh! Look at how many stages there are in World 2 than in 1. It boggles my brain. Whenever I try to bring myself to play this game, I don't last for more than 30 minutes before I get into a fetal position and whimper to myself. This is the most tedious game I've ever played. The enemies slow you down, getting the screws out slows you down, the bonus stages I make myself do slows me down, and I can't take it anymore. And what is that wretched sound? Why does Gubble sound like a demon god whenever he speaks and haunts my dreams? Wait a second. Sound. Sound! No, that means we're talking about... What is there to talk about? There's only like 5 songs in Gubble and they all sound like stock music. Now that I think about it, everything in this game looks like stock models that they found on a free asset store. This all hurts my eyes. Whatever, I can do this myself. I need to finish this game to know how Gubble's story ends. I'm far too invested in the lore to give up now. Reviewer powers, activate! I've done it. Wait a sec. I'm not even done with World 2 yet? This can't be. Wikipedia, Gubble. 10 worlds? No, no, no! How could this be? There isn't even a save feature. What can I do? What if there's nothing I can do? What is this game doing to me? I need to get out of here.
If I see you leave your house, I will cut you down with my amazing katana skills, fish boy.
Oh no, that's right! Tyler, you will regret this one day. There's no way I'm letting you beat me. Tyler, you coward! You're not getting away with this! My final words on Gubble, it's Hellspawn. Even some of the levels look like hell, like this one, and this one, or even this one. It's frustrating, tedious, and boring. The gameplay sucks, the graphics look like puke, and I'm not putting up with it anymore. This game may have its fans, but they're wrong, and I hate them. Yeah, take that. This game gets a TCS rating of it's bad, and I don't like it.
Hey buddy, you know you love me. Why don't you stay a while? Let's play Gubble forever.
You can't make me do anything.
Then I see you want it the hard way. I was trying to be a nice guy, but you forced my hand. Sharingan, activate.
No, not the Sharingans! Ah!
Ugh, where am I? Is this what death feels like? No, not yet. I can't die. I haven't even gotten 200 subs yet. I can't die when people like him, or him, are still breathing. That's right. I can't give up. Now with that lunatic on the loose. Ah!
Just wanna play video games.
Just wanna play video games. Just wanna play video games. Oh.
Hey Gaylord, you're pretty stupid, don't you think?
Whoa, you like a real anime girl?
Who do you think you are?
They call me Savage Spore, but I'm afraid you're done for, Gubble.
Hey babe, that was pretty awesome. You come here often?
Yes. Correct. Everything is going according to plan. I will make my move soon enough. I swear you won't be disappointed, Tyler.
What's up guys, Salmon here, your man with the plan to get some lollies in his van, bringing you a lit new video that I've wanted to make for a very, very long time. Hey, but before we start, I want to mention this channel's name has changed to something that I think fits my little chamber a little bit more, if you know what I'm saying. Honoring our new name and banner, I decided to do an original countdown of the top 10 fish in gaming. This is a video long overdue, and I must say, I've been looking forward to making it ever since I uploaded that amazing Mega Man X video where I screeched into a potato about how much I hated Buzz Lightyear. We've come so far since then, my boys, so now I think I'm ready to tackle a video such as this. Strap in, grab your Axe deodorant and your waifu pillow with my face on it, cause we're diving in. Okay, let me get this off my chest real fast. Freddy Fish is a homie and has never ceased to make me blush with his cunning detective skills and overall manliness. Freddy Fish starred in a series of online point-and-click MMORPGs created by Humongous Entertainment that debuted in 1994. His franchise seemed to be loved by all, but for some inconceivable reason they stopped making games in 2001. Freddy and his franchise is discontinued to this day, and sometimes I still cry about it. Each day I send countless emails to Humongous Entertainment begging and pleading for them to make a new game, re-release the games as an anthology collection, or even remake the first 3 for modern audiences so the kids of today could experience what I did. But they never will. The dream is dead, and so is some of my soul. There's no point in even thinking about it anymore. Several of the game's developers have put restraining orders on me, so there's not much I can do now. I'm sorry guys. I'm sorry fellow fans of Freddy Fish. I have failed you. We will never go on adventures with the handsome and dashing Freddy Fish ever again, and it's all their fault. Anyways, Freddy Fish is a chill guy, and he'll be my friend till the end of time. I'm a huge fan of the Cave Story series, so I knew I had to put some representation on this list. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Salmon, that's a skeleton, not a fish. Why is he on this list? Oh, there, viewers, you narrow-minded fools. You guys have clearly not played Earthbound as much as me, because you don't know the first thing about Sans the Skeleton. In the art book for Sans the movie, it explains that he is everything and everyone at once. Sans has a part of every organism swarming inside of him, so this explains why we have seen Sans in so many forms, in the Peter Griffin form, in the Ness form, and his God form, just to name 3. So who's to say that somewhere deep down he is a fish? The Sans the movie art book did say he was practically every organism on and off the planet, right? I dare one of you ninnies to argue with me in the comments. I actually dare you. He writes maps. Fish don't do that. Woo! You are my friend. Mermen are common enemies in the Castlevania franchise, and I have my good buddy Dean Wieterstadt to thank for getting me into this series. So rather than talking about Castlevania, how about I just let my boy go ahead?
Honestly, I think that Castlevania is my favorite game series. But to be honest, it falls thread in postmodernism, a type of being that I love to comprehend. And that's why I love it. I love it so, and you love it so, because you play the game on your Nintendo. I hate emojis. All they are is the bane of my existence.
Oh, whoa, is it getting hot in here? Cause wow, Prince Sidon is my boy, and is up there with my other, husbandos. They managed to make a fish boy that wasn't me a complete hunk, and that's commendable. No homo, though. When I'm not partaking in man's games like Fortnite and Crash Bandicoot, I'm playing those foul baby games such as Doom, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and Kevin. My favorite character in the entire series would have to be Kine for some obvious reasons. Making his appearance in Crispy's Dream Land 2 and then proceeding to be on all of 3 games, Kine has left a huge mark on the Kevin series. When looking at this absolute unit, I tremble in utter defeat because of my sheer lack of testosterone that this man has. I want you to look at me and say that you would not pay some of your internal organs to chill and smoke mustard with this man. That's exactly what I did, and not once have I ever regretted it. And yes, I do smoke mustard from time to time, and get over it. Okay, now we're getting in the top 3, reserved for only gods and weapons of mass destruction. That's right, boys. Skid it. Our man, our boy is here. Bubble Bass is one of gaming's most devious villains, and it's not hard to tell why. Let me break it down for you, okay? He's got the muscle, the upper body strength of a rhino on steroids. He wears both lenses of truth on his face, a neckbeard that even makes me jealous, and perhaps the beefiest body structure on the face of the planet. Okay, imagine for a second. You work at Five Guys or something, and then this man, no, this god, comes through the doors. What do, you may ask? You quit, that's what you do. Your life is over, kid, sorry. When I saw Bubble Bass at the right age of 3, I nearly drowned in my own sweat and tears. I've never seen such a menacing monster in my entire life up to that point. But now I'm mature. I'm now in fact 6 years old, and I can truly see the artistry and passion that took to create such a character. Need I say more? Probably not, I think you guys get the point. Bubble Bass, you will go down as the most treacherous fiend in all of fiction. Wow, just wow. Are you guys really gonna make me go into this? Do I need to spell out everything for you? Magikarp is the best Pokemon there is. There's like 700 or something, but all of them fall to his might. I love Magikarp so much that I got my very own holographic card of him, and it's still in the plastic. Sometimes on nights where I feel really scared, I tape this to my wall and it almost feels like he's protecting me, casting the monsters away. Thank you, Magikarp. I'd most likely be dead without you.
It's time for the moment you've been waiting for.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the best fish in all of Blimeo Blames, has been before you this entire time. Hey yo, Skid boys! Who would have ever thunk I'd put myself on my very own list? No one, that's who. I'm adored by everyone, and I like everyone in return. I make really good videos, I'm a big fan of
Umaru-chan.
and I'm just a great guy all around. Who wouldn't put me as number one? I think I found an artifact. I can't believe someone would just throw something like this away. This right here is high quality. I can't believe I found it amongst all this trash. What were they thinking? I just can't wait to go home and try this out. I can't believe they already tracked my location. I need to prepare for battle. The coast is clear. I can make my escape. Glad I made it out of there alive. Alright. Now finally we can watch Umaru Season 1. I'm pumped for this. Alright, just gotta power on my Blu-ray. Time to kick back and enjoy a good Chinese cartoon.
5 hours later.
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Umaru, I love you. I love you. Himoto Umaru-chan is a slice-of-life animated series produced by the animation studio Dogo Kobo in 2015. The show depicts the foul crimes against humanity committed by a small orange creature of hell that disguises itself as a human female during the day. When our protagonist, her name's Umaru by the way, is at school, she puts on an act of an absolute unit who can do no wrong, winning the love of every Chad in the school, acing her tests, and triumphing over all who oppose her. But things change when she goes back to her brother's apartment. We pay witness to her true and honest god form, where she unleashes all of her demonic energy that has laid dormant over the previous hours on her innocent older brother, which by lucky circumstance has become her caretaker. Watch an utter horror as she uses all her reality-bending powers to get literally anything she wants, win a video game tournament, and juggle an impossible lifestyle that nobody could ever physically do. Let's get into them characters, starting out with the titular Umaru. Umaru is a character that seems to resonate with a lot of people. You see, when the very core of Umaru as a character was being conceived, they wanted to make her relatable to the main demographic. You know, to appeal to the majority of the audience. I'm sure all Umaru fans are most likely cute high school students who are good at everything while simultaneously are really good at video games.
Go home, gamer girl.
What the hell is your problem?
Well, I know I fit that description, so naturally I fell in love with Umaru from the start. I love the way she, embarrasses her older brother in public to get the things she wants, how she doesn't eat dinner that her brother spent hours of his time preparing for her. How her very being actually infuriates me. Alright, other characters, they don't matter. Okay, this guy. So this fellow right here, as you probably know, is the very, very fortunate man to be blessed with the marvel that is his little sister. This man is crucial to the main themes of the show. You could say he's the perfect foil to Umaru-chan. He's the yin to Umaru's yang. He's her complete opposite, and the main draw of this show is seeing these two ultimate forces duel against each other. You see, Umaru's brother, who has a name but I don't care, is an upstanding, responsible individual who's kind to everyone he meets, he's gracious enough to provide for himself and his sister, and is just an overall good person. And on the other side, we have Umaru, who is really hashtag relatable. Yes, I too consume cola and Shippu and use my cunning skills to achieve all of my goals. So yeah, anyways, that does it for all the characters, and I must say, what an impressive cast that we have here. It feels as though they grow over the course of the series, and we connect with them further on a deeper level. We grow with them, and it starts to feel like they're actual people. When people ask me what's my golden standard for character writing, I say, hey man, Himoto Umaru-chan is the way to go. Adding on to this, the show keeps a tried and true plot structure that keeps the viewer engaged as the series goes on. It goes a little something like this.
Oni-chan, buy me Chippu and game or else I'll pee on the floor again.
Umaru, please, we can't afford it. I'm so sorry, but we're running low on funds this month. Please, just wait a little longer. I swear I'll...
Oni-chan, I'll do it. Buy me new game or I'll break your computer. Time is ticking, Oni-chan.
If that's not the basis for a wonderful show, well, I don't know what is. If that wasn't enough to get you hooked, be pleased to hear that they add more characters to the mix, like Blue Girl, Red Girl, Scary Girl, Hamsters, etc. The list goes on! Each of these characters have deep and developed personalities that play off each other in interesting ways. Moving on from the show's deep and complicated cast of characters, it's time for some Jap lessons. You may not know the Jap language, but fear not, my viewer. Papa Fish has got you covered, fam. So as you no doubt noticed by now, Himoto Umaru-chan is the full name of the series. But you might be asking yourself, what does Himoto even mean? Well, let's break it down so even you foolish commoners could comprehend it. It was formed from the two words Imoto, meaning little sister, and the word Himono, meaning dried fish. So when you slap it together and read out the full title of this masterpiece, you get My Dried Fish Little Sister, Umaru-chan. This is how you name a show. All other trash out there, take notes. Welp, that just about does it on my notes for Umaru-chan Season 1. And wow is all I can say. It's hard to fathom civilization started from nothing, and through the years, centuries, and generations later, we have evolved to make Umaru-chan. It's the peak of human performance. All technical advancements have led to here. The perfect TV show. My body can't even contain my love for the show. In fact, it almost feels as though the pain is swelling up. Unfathomable pain. Starting in my leg, to my lower abdomen, climbing its way through my left arm, and into my neck. Excuse me for a second, I think I need to take a breather. What a pleasant surprise this has been. Who would have thought that I'd just find this lying around in the garbage? Looking back, I'd say this is one of the best anime of 2015. I just enjoyed it that much. Oh heck. How about I just rewatch it right now? Hold on. I think there's something off about this disc. No! It can't be! My eyes must be playing tricks on me! Gubble was destroyed!
I cannot be destroyed. I can only be subdued. As long as I keep climbing bodies, my soul will live on forever to serve my master. Tyler Green.
Say it isn't so!
The hour of sacrifice is at hand. You will not best me again, fish boy. This time I will not underestimate your power.
No! What's happening to me? What is this foul place?
Welcome to Papa's house. Disposing you will all be easier now. Tyler only needs one more sacrifice to escape from his dark prison. How fitting that your death serves him.
Never!
I see you won it the hard way. No matter. Writhe in fear, scum. My perfect final form is before you. I feel Tyler guiding me. You feel that? That is the anger and fury of a god locked away by your hands. Do him a favor and offer your life energy.
He's too strong! I'm not gonna make it!
It's all over for you. Death is your only way to repent for your sins.
Not on my watch.
It's you!
Oh, you bet it's me, and with me around Gubble is a dead man Lamel.
Oh? Do you want to die so badly? 2 sacrifices works for me.
Oh shoot, never mind. Fish. Please stop, Tyler. You're the last hope for what's left of humanity. I'm sorry I couldn't beat him.
No. Why is this happening to me? I vowed I would never lose another man on the field.
We've done it! The final sacrifice has been obtained! Tyler Green's reign will silence all!
You. I've had quite enough. It's about time I stop fooling around.
It doesn't matter. If I fall, my mission is incompleted. Thank you, Tyler. You gave my life purpose.
A light? Could it be? Those guys really got me a way out? Yes. Yes! 100 long years of waiting, of painful and crushing hatred, and now it's all over. This world will know my name. I will get over 200 subscribers. They will learn to worship me. They will all worship Tyler Green. But not before I pay my buddy Salomon a visit.
I don't know what will become of me, or the outside world. I've run away from destiny for so long that I don't know what to do anymore. Even though I've had a century to comprehend it, I still don't think I have. But I'm still going to try. I don't care how many stupid reviews I have to make, the lives I have to take. Tyler needs to be defeated once and for all.
In due time, even he will learn to cower in fear at my mere existence. I've had a very long time to plan, and I've taken every possible outcome to heart. Things won't be the same this time. I know he is already making preparations, so I can't let him down.
I'm putting this to rest forever. In the next season, heyo!
I stare at the stars and the sky up above and think, what am I made of? Am I full of sorrow? Am I hurt and pain? Or am I filled with love? I walk by myself on the streets below and ask every child I know, do you think tomorrow will bring sun or rain? Which one of these will show? I can't farther away than the light leading to yesterday. It's there that I'll find inner peace, not war, and dreams that I let slip away.